Catherine, Volodymyr Zelenskyy has appealed for international assistance. He has been urging civilians also to come forward and defend the country. At this point, what is your assessment of the support that has come in from the West?
Well, my assessment of the support from the West is pretty negative. I think that, and I'm not talking just about today, I'm talking about sort of the last few years. I think that they played a game with Ukraine, basically, where they encouraged it to embrace a very vocal pro-Western policy and sort of flinched whenever Zelenskyy seemed to be, even hinting at sort of questioning this pro-Western trajectory. And at the same time, they weren't ready to guarantee anything to Ukraine. Right? They weren't willing to admit, for example, that it was highly unlikely that Ukraine was going to be joining NATO. They weren't willing to give Ukraine a chance to work out its own path forward to defend itself and to find an accommodation with its neighbor that's run by a psychopath. So I view the Western support or approach to Ukraine in a very negative light right now.
Condemnation and sanctions that have been issued already, more will follow now that the Russian attack has gone this far. But to what extent do you think this really speaks well of how united the West has been and how successful it has been in trying to deter Russia so far?
So, listen, the Western unity, or at least, EU-US unity on sanctions has been really impressive. I think, people are a bit less positive about the British sanctions so far. They consider them a little bit spineless. The unity on sanctions has been impressive. The unified messages coming out of the intelligence community, I think, as someone who was a bit skeptical of these messages at first, I now think that they have been very well coordinated and well delivered for the most part. However, I think it's too little too late.
Earlier, there was a claim that came in from the Russian Defense Ministry that civilians will not be targeted and that they are only targeting the military infrastructure in the country and targeting the Ukrainian regime. To quote them, the Ukrainian junta. What do you make of this information warfare that has been going on over the last few hours and days?
Well, as far as the reports that they're not targeting any civilian infrastructure, that might be true. They might, they might not have set out to hit any apartment buildings, but there seem to be quite credible reports that some civilian infrastructure has been hit with considerable civilian casualties. There have been some reports, again, I'm not entirely confirmed, of use of of Smerch weaponry, which can't really be effective.